Hello, friends. Welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today I'm excited to share with you guys this awesome planning hack I recently discovered to make time blocking and pre-planning so much easier. Such a simple planning technique that you can do yourself to keep you organized and on task in a stylish way. So let's get to it. So the first thing that led me to this planner hack that I recently discovered is task cards. So this is very popular in the planner community if you are new to task cards. So brief overview. Basically, they are cards that planners will put within their planners, usually on the smaller planners like A5 and below, and they'll put them into card slots in their planner covers, so that they have a list of tasks that they can complete in certain categories at hand. So that's how that all stemmed about, and they're usually composed of a clear plastic sheet on the back. Sometimes they grab like clear plastic business cards, or also too, you can make your own out of laminated sheets. This one here, I just had a piece of clear plastic that I cut down to size to give you guys an example of what one will look like. But basically, this is what they are. They usually have 5 to 7 tasks on a card, and they're made up of sticky flags, such as these. So they're the clear plastic type, not normally with the paper type, but with the plastic. And that's on purpose because they're able to be changed out a little bit easier and are easily, stuck down and removed multiple times. That's important. So it's just something like that, some page flags that can be reused, usually, like I said, clear plastic type. And this one is just like a basic white tone. And then the way you customize it for yourself is that you identify a category of your life that you need to have these repetitive tasks in your planner on a regular basis. So for this one, I just do like productivity, things that I do once a week. I have like social admin. Sometimes I get Etsy custom orders, comment catch up. So, just catching up on my comments, inbox clean out, and planning in general, just like setting up my planner for the week. So there's some productivity type tasks that I normally do. So I thought that would be a good example here on this task card. And the way it would work is that you would just open up your planner and stick this down on the days that you want to do them and go from there. So if you were planning on doing social admin on Monday, you just stick it down. And then if you do it, you take that tag off and you put it back onto the task card for the next week. So that's just the basic premise of task cards if you were unfamiliar. I love this idea, and I think it's a really great idea, but having this classic size happy planner, task cards don't quite fit as well into my planning scheme because I would either need to have like some kind of pocket slot inserted into the planner. This is not my catch-all planner. This is the hourly planner that I'll be discussing. But most classic planners, unless they have a cover with a specific kind of like card slot section, would really not have a place to put these cards into them. Of course, you can make your own. I'm not saying that you couldn't do this with task cards, but they're also a little bit small and limiting. So I love the idea of it, but it was a little bit small scale for what I personally needed. And that got me thinking. So next I want to talk about routines and repetitive tasks and how they fit into time blocking. I decided this year that I was going to start managing my time better and incorporate my goals into my current planner setup, just so that I can make time for achieving my goals and keep better track of wasted time and fill it with something productive. That said, I started using an hourly planner in a very functional way in order to break down my day into time segments, and that has been working out great. However, there are some inefficiencies that I want to address with this planner hack. So the way that I've been going about it the first quarter of the year is that on the Sunday before the week begins, I would actually pre-fill out my schedule ahead of time. And sometimes I would only do like the first couple days. Sometimes I would do the full week if I knew what was coming down the pipeline and what where my time was going to need to go. And I use an erasable friction pen so that I could make adjustments as I went without having the planner be too messy. And that works out okay, but I don't know if you guys can see, but there's quite a few like eraser, leftovers here on the planner, which isn't quite as ideal as I'd like for my planner. So my idea was, how can I make this more efficient and clean in the end? Because what I end up doing is, if the day does not go to plan, I will reset the day with what actually happened and then start to adjust as the week progresses, the things that maybe got missed or things that needed to be shifted to another day, that kind of thing, or things that were canceled and maybe moved up, that made it very fluid. And that was a bit of an irritant when I would have a very unevenly planned day where there was a lot of changes that needed to be made. So after all of that, I figured out that there's got to be a better way to do this. Enter in my hack of this task card idea blending in with pre-planning in my hourly schedule. Basically what I did is took the idea of this task card, and instead of having it for these smaller kind of segmented task ideas that, people would do in certain topics like productivity or cleaning or whatever, I did a master list of all the repetitive things that I do on a weekly basis that I can use to help me time block my time. So this may change a little bit as the year goes through, but a lot of these things are things that I do every week, and always have to account time for. So that said, what I did is I took a laminated sheet. I think you can do this on anything that's plastic so that the actual page flags will stick to it and that you can, remove them on and off, but still have a place for storing your tasks in, one neat area, and having that be your starting point for planning your week. So, like I said, I did that. It's basically the same setup as these task cards where you just use a clear plastic sticky note flag and set that down with a label. And the way that you could do with the labels, there's multiple ways. You could use a label maker to do this. I have a pretty affordable one that I think I got at Target many years ago that will, be able to do a basic label for you without a printer or anything. There's also those smaller thermal printers. I have one here as well, the foam memo printer that you can print right off your phone, make your labels that way. This is a really handy tool for that and also making stickers. And of course, the way that I did it, I just got a big sheet of label paper and did this on my computer so it was ready to go. Printed out the full sheet and then cut up the individual labels. So it's just a little bit more succinct, and everything was a little bit easier for me to do that way for myself because I had a lot to do. But you can do it any of those ways. So what I did, like I said, is I created what I usually do on a regular basis in my planner each week and created a flag for each. I also picked colors that I thought would match up kind of with the things that I was working on. So I think it was like work related to try to keep in the blue tones, like filming social, I kept here in the green. Active things in the pink. Break stuff I have kind of in the more muted neutral tones. And then like my morning routine is just kind of like my wake up routine, but I do planning and things like that as well. As this one I ended up doing for anything that was kind of out of the house or something with a time element involved with it. One thing I will tell you too is that I purposefully cut down the flags to the size that was similar to a long box here in my hourly schedule. That way I could easily lay it down and it wouldn't cross over into the next day and get really confusing. So most of the page flags should fit pretty well within the time blocks that are here on the schedule. And I just did that I just put a bunch of them down together on a piece of cardstock so I could try to cut it all at once with my guillotine cutter. Took a few chops, so some of them look a little bit ragged, but it was just the fastest way to do it that I could figure out. So like I said, I have them here stored just on a laminated sheet that I made a while back. When I was doing my DIY sticky dash, I made another one just to try things out. So I had that there, but you could put this on a cover. You could put this on a dashboard. I was thinking that it would be really nice to have just a dashboard in between the pages for the next week, ready to go. Something like that would be a really handy way to have them at hand. These ones I'm going to keep in my productivity section in my catch-all, so I know that that's where the storage will be. But yeah, so you have a lot of different ways to store it as well. So I'm really excited about this because, like I said, I was pre-planning, writing things in, and then erasing and making adjustments on the fly. But with these page flags that are labeled with your, normal routine, I can easily just stick them down on the days. So if I was pre-planning this week, just do this. Been waking up around 7:30, so we'll just stick it there for now. My morning routine is 3 hours, but I already kind of know that, so it's not that big a deal that it's not filling up all the time. I'll lay them in, and I know that every morning is pretty much the same. But say one morning I slept in, I can go ahead and move things down and then easily just adjust the day with these page flags instead of rewriting things, which is a nice feature. So a normal process would be to do this. And then my next step actually for using these is to map out the time where I know I have to get something done on a certain day. So like if there was an event or a meetup, say I know I'm going to meet a friend at 1, or if I have like a doctor's appointment at let's say 3 on Wednesday, I could put those in. And then I also would put in things that I, again, know what will be happening. So, I'll need to film and voice my Wednesday video on Monday. So I'll just put that in to its normal time slot. Since my morning routine is about 3 hours, I go maybe 10 a.m. or maybe 10:30, film that video, and then voice probably after my break. So we'll put that, say, at 2. And then I'll also put in my midday break. And that would be probably from like 1 to 2, because filming takes a little bit longer. So just some things that I can keep in mind. Now, if you have the access to page flags that are longer or shorter and you know that certain things take certain time, that'd be a really great way to even go further with this pre-planning idea and really block out the amount of time that you're going to need. This one, I'm kind of keeping it a little bit more in my head, but again, I feel like it's a lot better than writing and rewriting my pre-plan for the week. So that said, I would do that. This is a little insight too into how I plan out my week and incorporate time for my goals and tasks and things. So I do have a video showing how I set up my monthly goals and then transfer those into weekly tasks. If you want to see that, I will link that above as well as in the description below. So that said, what I do is I take those weekly tasks and incorporate them into my planner as at this stage so that I already know, because I've already mapped out which tasks need to be done each week. And so, for example, like last quarter, I was trying to meal prep every Monday. So I would put that in to the schedule. And then that way I had it built in. Voicing would only take me about 2 hours. So in between there, I would have between 3 and 4. So maybe that would be a good place to add in a goal task that I could do for those 2 hours meal prep. And then I've been doing my workouts at 6 as my normal time in case I can fit it in at that time. And then right afterwards, I would shower. And then get into like my dinner and my late night routine, which I don't have a sticky for because it's pretty simple. I basically just chill, eat, and chill. And sometimes I try to do some additional goal tasks while I am resting for the day. So I could put that in here as well as just a reminder to try to tackle a few more goal tasks while I'm, in front of the TV or what have you. That's kind of how I envision the pre-planning to go. And then as the week begins, I would take my pen, let me grab that real quick, and say my morning routine was on schedule. So what I could do is, as the day progresses, go down the list and just say morning routine. And then say it went to 10. And then let's say I did film at 10:30. What does that film? Wednesday's video. Oops. And say it only took me 2 hours today. At that point, I decided to take my break a little early. So then I could easily just move that into that slot. Say, okay, I usually was color coding my break time. And let's say I took an hour and a half. And then I would go into voicing, write that in. So you can kind of see, you can easily mark out what actually happened for the day, but still keep track of what you want to be doing. So just a quick example of that for one of these hourly schedules, but that's really the idea of it. So when you're done, you put the tags back where they were on the sheet, and you can use it again for the next week for your pre-planning and use them over and over again without having to rewrite the tasks and each and every day. I'm pretty excited about this hack. I think it's going to be super helpful and much more efficient when it comes to pre-planning my week and my hourly schedule. A really simple technique that you could do, anyone can do. You don't have to do these task cards as is, like many people. Sometimes you see people doing something and you want to do it exactly like them. Kind of feel like it's good to evaluate something and find out how it could work best for you. So that's kind of what I did here with these task cards, which I love the idea of, and just kind of made it into something that really works with my planning style at the moment. So that's it, friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Bye.